Greetings, fellow scribes! Welcome back to the archive! This week, I continue my series on the classes of AD&D 2nd Edition Dark Sun by talking about the Druid. The Druid is kind of a special case in all the classes because, unlike all the other classes that got more or less balanced out or just had little thematic changes, the Druid had a massive change in what it did and how it fit into the game world. This ended up resulting in two things. First, giving the Druid a definitive role in the party. And second, in many ways, giving the Druid a buff compared to the standard cleric. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we talk about the Athasian Druid. The classic 2nd edition Player's Handbook Druid is a protector of balance of all of nature. They were actually required to be true neutral. And this made them different in many ways, but the big thing with the normal Druid, the classic Druid, was that they protected nature as a whole. The Athasian Druid is different. The Athasian Druid protects a specific region. These guarded lands could be an oasis, could be a clump of trees in one of the handful of forests still in existence. It could be a stretch of scrublands or a particular patch of rocky desert. It can also be things like the howling winds of the north and similar. Either way, the Druid lives to protect this area. And all of his powers come essentially from that. But let's go through some of the other unique features of the Athasian Druid before we start talking about their abilities. First, the Athasian Druid has no restrictions on weapons. They can learn any weapon on Dark Sun, but they cannot wear armor. Oh, sure, they can use bracers, rings, cloaks, etc. that give them benefits to their armor class. But they cannot wear breastplates or stuff like that. Ironically, this means that one of the best races, defensively speaking, to be a Druid is the Three Cream, because they have natural armor and can't wear armor anyway. But let's go a bit beyond that. The Athasian Druid has his spells, just like a regular Druid, just like a regular cleric of any sort. The difference is the Athasian Druid has major access to the Sphere of Cosmos and has major access to one sphere related to his protected lands. If his protected lands have another sphere that could be associated with them, then they have minor access to that sphere. Yes, you could have a guarded lands that could potentially have 3 different spheres associated with it, but you only get to pick 2. One with major, one with minor access. But what's significant here is that the Druid has major access to the Sphere of Cosmos. Remember, a cleric only has minor access to the Sphere of Cosmos. And the Sphere of Cosmos is all these spells like Cure Light Wounds, Cure Serious, Cure Critical, Heal, Raise Dead, Resurrection, etc., etc. This is where all the classic "this is a healer" spells are. This is also where the spells like Bless and the various protective spells are. What this means is that in Dark Sun, the Druid fills the role, the healing role, of the classic cleric. The classic cleric is a combat caster and some buffing, but is mostly a combat caster and is therefore dealing with undead, because druids still don't have any real effect on undead. And this really changes the dynamic of the druid. This changes how the druid fits into the world. This also means the druid has access to a spell that's part of the sphere of cosmos that none of the others have. And that spell is Create Tree of Life. A Tree of Life is a special thing. It's basically a tree that is both ethereally present and physically present. And you can destroy the body of the tree, but as long as the other aspect of it is still there, it will grow back quickly. If you destroy the spirit aspect of the tree but don't destroy the physical, then the spirit side of it will regenerate quickly. And these trees matter because there's something that helps mitigate defilers. There's something that helps restore the area around them. There's also a whole bunch of other effects related to them. But druids are the only spellcasting, the only priestly class, other than Templars, who can cast this spell. And they're the only non-evil people who can cast it. However, priests don't get any benefit from it. It's wizards who get all the benefit. So it's a weird kind of thing. But it is important because it is a key part of being a druid. But, as I said, the druids get a whole bunch of abilities within their guarded lands. First thing is that they are always concealed within their lands. They can hide from anyone within their guarded lands. As in, you can't see them unless they want to be seen. Druids can speak to the animals that are within their guarded lands. And when he reaches 7th level, he can speak to all animals. He can speak to plants in his guarded lands at 5th level. And he can speak with all plants at 9th. He can live without water or nourishment in his guarded lands when he reaches 7th level. It's basically that he's effectively drawing life energy from his lands to keep himself going. At 10th level, the Athasian Druid can shape change to any creature that is found within his guarded lands. Now, this is kind of weird in how it works. It's any creature that can be found within his guarded lands. Not that they have to be something that is native to those lands. If it's a creature that its natural migratory routes go through his lands at some point during the year, then he can shape change into those. And that is the core of the abilities of the Druid. Now, of course, what elements are good for different guarded lands? Well, it kind of depends. Examples would be if it's something for the sphere of Earth, a particular mountain or set of hills, a rock outcropping, an expansive desert or steppes. For the sphere of air, the skies over a particular area, the winds of a canyon, or any prevailing wind pattern. Fire would be dry grasslands, a volcanic vent, hot springs, or a boiling tar pit. Sphere of water, a spring or a pool of water, an oasis, or a natural cistern. Let's take a bit and look at these. A hot springs could be both fire and water. These dry grasslands, that can be both earth and fire. An area with lots of obsidian could be both earth and fire. An open expanse, that could easily be air and earth, or whatever really fits, because this area has lots of wind blowing over it. And that's the thing, these can be combined. You can look at what a region has and kind of get an idea for what it should be. A druid who's guarding a particular shoreline section of the Sea of Silt, for instance, that would probably be air and water, or earth. All of those could kind of fit, because the Sea of Silt was once water. And there's this area of mud flats near the Sea of Silt. So it could be kind of any of those. But that is the Druid. Next week I talk about the enforcers of the Sorcerer Kings, the Templars. So until then, I'd like you all to remember to have fun and keep gaming.